Hey everyone, welcome to day 2 of the Going Live Confidently Challenge. So, yesterday we talked about just going live in general and how to build up your confidence. And today we're going to be talking about live sales. Now, if you're not a product based business owner, you can still take this framework and talk about your offers. So, this is something that you could prep and get ready for. This is talking about launching and prepping and your timeline and your marketing, and this really dives deep into that. Before I get started, I want to remind you that if you didn't sign up for the live challenge, you can still watch these videos, obviously, but you have to sign up for the live challenge in order to receive the homework, which is also all of the extra stuff that I don't talk about in these live trainings because it would take me 2-3 hours and nobody wants to hear me talk for 2-3 hours. So I wanted to make sure that you have access to that. So I will also drop the link in the comments when I'm done actually presenting tonight, so you can sign up and get day 1 and day 2's homework, and so that you can also get tomorrow's main thing, which is you can go live in the group, or you can set up a clarity call with me so we can kind of dive into those questions that you have. So if you're here watching this live, just post in the comments and let me know you're watching this live, and if you have any questions, pop them in the chat so I can answer those. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. And if you have questions, make sure you tag me in that so I can answer those questions. So let's get started. I'm going to shift me to the bottom of the screen so we can have access to the PowerPoint. So like I said, this is day 2 talking about live sales. So the quote I had for today is, "Don't let your doubt hold you back from making sales." So there are a lot of places on social media that you can actually go live, and the two that I focus on is Facebook and Instagram, because those are the ones. So those are the ones that I go live constantly. Obviously, I'm going live on Facebook right now. I go live on Instagram a lot too, as well. TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn, I haven't tried as much. TikTok, I just dive deep into that. YouTube, I just had to restart my channel, and LinkedIn's a little bit too professional for me in certain aspects of going live and being enthusiastic. But we are focusing on Facebook and Instagram. So the methods I'm going to talk to you about tonight are focusing on those. You could possibly apply them to the last 3, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn, but I'm claiming that I'm not an expert. So I would go to those experts for help. Okay. So I'm going to shift this over so you can read that. Okay, so do you have to have live sales? So again, we're focusing on live sales questions. You don't have to. Everyone is different, but if you're someone who is doing your product-based business as a side hobby or a side business and you have a 9 to 5, live sales are the best way to save time and raise money. And I say raise money because some of you would like to shift from your 9 to 5 to your side hustle. And the reason why live sales work is I want to think about, and if you're one of these people, put this in the comments. But when I first started selling my photography, because I started out as a landscape animal photographer, I would go to shows every Saturday, and I'd be standing at a table for 8 to 10 hours a day trying to sell my artwork. Now, if you think about it, you have a lot of money and time put in that. Not only do you have the 8 to 10 hours that you're there, but you also have the money that you have to put into being at the show. And then you also have to think about all the prep work. So the time you're getting ready and all the inventory costs. So say you already have $500 put into that based on time and money and your inventory. Well, what happens if you make only 5 sales and that only equates to $30? You lost a huge chunk. Now going live is different. Yes, you have to pay yourself for your time, but because you're doing out of your own home or you're doing in a local studio, you can do it as long as you want. Typically, live sales are anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, but you have that opportunity and freedom that not everybody gets. Now, I will talk about the Facebook issue coming down the line in October, but I want to focus on the idea that live sales don't have to be live. Okay, so we'll touch on that in a little bit. So when we talk about live sales, there is a checklist, and I think it's very important for people to understand. And this is on your sheet that you're going to get. You have emailed today. I gave you guys an email to kind of look at it so you can ask questions during the live. But you can't just jump into a live sale. So you have to have consistency and you have to have purpose. So especially if you're newer to the game or you're switching over from constantly doing live events in person to online, you have to train your audience. And I don't want that to be a bad thing, but training your audience to actually understand your consistency. So we have to talk about live sales checklist. And there is a question, and I will get to that in the comments. So your live sale checklist is define your purpose, define your marketing and financial goals, define your marketing strategy, create your workflow with a time frame, and create an inventory. Now, this is super important because you're going to need a good chunk of time to prepare for this. But once you do it a couple times, you will get the hang of it. So, but if you do a lot of prep work, it actually saves you money and time in the long run, and also helps you get to that point of having successful live sales. Now, I've done live sales, and I actually created this checklist because I made so many mistakes in my live sales that didn't gain traction. So when I was selling my photography live sales, I didn't prep. I didn't have goals. I just kind of said, hey, I'm going live on this day at this time. Please show up. And that's not something you can do. So to answer your question, would live sales work for nail strips? I've been thinking about doing live sales. Yes, you can basically sell anything live. You just have to have a technique. And the technique is something that you really have to focus on and be very specific about. It's kind of like having a checklist and constantly going back to that checklist and making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And the reason I say what you're supposed to be doing is based on your goals. So I'm not saying, say, for example, you want to go live and do live sales and you have no idea where to start. And you want to do a coaching session with me so I can go over this framework step by step. Well, everything is based on you. So you're defining the purpose of this live sale. You're defining the marketing and financial goals. You're defining the marketing strategy because everything has to work around your schedule. For example, there are some people that do live sales 1 to 5 times a week. Some people don't have the time to do that. So some people do it once a month and they know it's the last Wednesday of every month or it's the first Tuesday of every month. All you have to do is, just like your marketing strategy with your content, you have to be consistent. Anyone can do live sales, but it's all in the prep work. And this is why I wanted to do this free challenge now, because you may need the next 2 to 3 months, which if you think about it, Christmas is right around the corner and holiday time, where people are going to be buying gifts. So you might need the next 2 months to prep for that live sale that you want to sell for Christmas. The most prep you do, the biggest prep, you might only have to do 1 or 2 live sales before Christmas, and because you're preparing yourself. If you just want to jump on tomorrow and sell your nail strips, it may work, especially if you have friends and family and people who are already going to buy from you because they're repeat customers. But if you're trying to grow your sale base and network with other people and make more sales than you have ever done, you need a strategy. Well, as long as you're watching this video right now, you're part of this challenge, but I will drop that link so you can get all of this on a piece of paper. So I'll drop that link in the comments right after when I'm presenting so you can join. So this is my framework. Now, as I said and say in all my videos, I only give you the tip of the iceberg because everything has to be formulated for you. So depending on what you sell really kind of formulates this, depending on who you are and what you do. So let's take the nail strip example. So you have to go through and really analyze who you are, how comfortable you are going on camera, how organized you are, and how specific you would like to be during your sale. So if you're someone who rarely goes on camera, doesn't really show up as authentically as they should, really struggles with showing their personality through their business, you're going to want to start at the 2 months. Now, if you've already done live sales before and you just need that little push to do a little bit better, you just need to take the framework and work through it quicker and just bring down those needle points and make it very specific for who you are. So I'm just going to go through the 60-day process. Now, like I said, it's different for everybody. If you constantly go live already, you can do a live sale next week and not have to worry about this 2-month planning. But if you've never done a live sale before, you struggle with going on camera, or even just don't prefer going on camera, or are scared to go on camera, or just need a little push, that 2 months really gets you where you're supposed to be, because that 2 months of prepping means every live sale after that is going to be just like the first one, and it's going to go smoother and smoother and smoother. So this framework is really about getting your audience excited about that launch. So for example, my mom sells wood garlands. She sells freshies online, and she actually is trying to get rid of some inventory so she can make room for new inventory. So she's going to do a sale in September. We already started talking about I run her social media, but we talked about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, already starting to tell them that the sale is coming and coming. Now, we don't talk about it every day. We post about it once or twice a week, maybe twice a week. But as I get closer to that launch week, you want to start increasing. As you get closer to the day of the sale, you're going to talk more and more about it, because that's the only thing your audience members should see. Here's a fun fact. You and only you see 100% of your content. So if you think you're posting enough, you're not. Because I can post something in my story on Instagram, story on Facebook. I can post something on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and LinkedIn, and I'll probably only have a 56% seen rate, which means 44% of the people didn't even see a single one of those things, and they might have been on all the platforms. So once you get to those last 2 weeks, you're going to be going really hard and really posting about it. And I think it's something that people miss is that 2-week period where there's a lot of behind the scenes. So if you're someone that makes your own product, showing all of that creation over and over and over again gets people amped up. If you don't make your own product, that doesn't make you a bad person, but showing a lot of behind the scenes of how it could be used, why it's important to buy it, why do they need it, okay, showing that and talking to them a lot before that live. That live sale should not be the first time they hear you talk to them on camera about that sale, because if it is, you're not showing up for your audience that much. You should be going live once a week on any platform. So it could be the first week you go live on Instagram, the second week you go live on Facebook, the third week you go live on Facebook again. You should be showing up live at least once a week. And if you are struggling with that, go back and watch video number 1, which is still posted in the group, or in your packet of freebie. But watch that video and build up your confidence to do that. Because the more you show up on camera, whether it's talking or pictures, the more involved your audience is going to be. So as we go through this framework, it's really important to understand that there's a lot of things that are going to be different for every person. Okay? Like, one of the big things is if you don't make your own products, you can't do the same behind the scenes, but you can show the prep work. Like, okay, I have a live sale next week. This is how I prep for it. I am getting all my numbers ready, or I'm practicing showing my jewelry in the camera, or show them who you are, what you do, because they will show up to that sale. Okay. And like I said, going live, whether it's talking about the sale or not, but showing your audience who you are is really important. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me shift out of this. I need to get rid of this one. Remove from studio. I need to add a new file because it just kicked me out. Be right back. Technical problems. Y'all know me. I always have technical problems. This is part of who I am. All right, let's see if this one has it. I added slides because people, yep, there they are. Let's see. Yes, okay. So people already started asking questions. So I figured I'd talk about this in the presentation, and it was added beforehand. So here are the 3 questions people ask me most about live sales. So how often should I have a live sale? Do you need to plan every live sale? And which platform is best for a live sale? So let's walk through these. Okay, so how often should I have a live sale? That depends on you. You and only you. You can just be consistent and follow your own schedule. So, like I said, some people go 5 times a week live and do really short lives, and I always talk about jewelry because I see a lot of jewelry people, but like Monday they may talk about bracelets, and Tuesday might talk about necklaces, and Wednesday might talk about rings, and so on and so forth. But for some people, that's too much. They can't have that time. But I say be consistent. Use a similar schedule and work it out. So you may have to change the date and the time. That's fine to make it work for your life. That's understandable. But if you try to keep it like the first Wednesday of every month, and you know that the first Wednesday of every month you're going to go live, you can try to plan your life around that one live. And I know it's hard because especially if you're a mom, or especially if you have multiple businesses, or you have a busy life, it's hard to do that. But letting your audience know when you're going live is really important. So here's the other thing. Do you need to plan every live sale? Once you have consistency, no. But once you get started, or as you're starting out, yes, you have to let them know because they're not going to show up. Like I said before, not everyone sees your content. So for example, when I'm sitting down and on my phone it says so-and-so's going live, well, doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be joining that live, because 10 other people can be going live at the same time. But if you know so-and-so loves your earrings, and so-and-so sees your post that you're going live at this time and you're releasing your new jewelry, they're excited. They want to come because this is their only chance of the whole year to get that jewelry. So it is really, truly important that you let them know what's happening so they can clear their schedule even for 10 minutes to watch it. But also a cool part is if you allow an extended sale. So if you tell your people, oh, this is only going to be available during this time and this time, and then at the end of the live sale, you'll be like, oh, I got so many messages today that people couldn't make it, and I really want to offer you these deals, so I'm going to extend this only for 2 days. So that gives a chance for your followers who missed all of your announcements because the algorithm didn't tell them, or they didn't have the notifications on, that they can still catch your replay and purchase from you. So consistency is key. You don't have to plan all the minor details, but you just have to have that marketing plan. And that's where I come in. I'm the marketing expert. I'm the person that can help you with that specific. So if you have questions about that, just ask. Let me shift me so you can see that. Okay, so it says which platform is best for live sale. This again depends on where you have not the most followers. I hate when people talk about that. Just because you have a lot of followers doesn't mean they are engaged. So I say where you have the most consistent and engaged followers. So for me, if I was going live and wanted to sell something, I would either sell it in this Facebook group that I'm going live because it's a very good community and I constantly have people engaging, or on my Instagram page because I have a lot of engagement on my Instagram. So here's where the struggle is, okay? I told you I was going to tell you. So if you've never done live shopping before on Facebook, Facebook is getting rid of the live shopping feature. So here's an example. So during the live shopping feature, you could link your carts or your shop during the live sale. So if someone was interested, they would just click on the link and go to purchase from your shop. They are getting rid of that October 1st. Now, don't let that say, oh, well, guess what? There goes my whole avenue of selling. This is where non-live sales are really important. So what I would do is if you still wanted to sell on Facebook, I would record yourself and tell your followers, hey, I'm going to be present. I'm going to let you watch this video of all this cool stuff that I'm launching in 2 weeks. And the video is going to be posted in 2 weeks. And this live sale is going to go from this day to this day. And I'm going to be posting links to my website. And if you want to purchase anything, you can go to that link in my website. Okay. There's a lot of other ways to do live shopping. If you want those tips and ideas, book a strategy call with me. I can help you with that and get you set up because I've done it all different ways. So even before Facebook had the shopping feature, I was able to help and get people started on that. So don't let that affect you. Okay, so who am I? What do I do? So I didn't introduce myself at the beginning because I did not want to bore anyone, but I am a photo marketing coach. And mostly I work with small business owners and help them gain their sales. So I am here to help you. So I am constantly taking on clients throughout the year, especially this time of year, because if you haven't gotten started on your holiday marketing, you need to start because you need to have at least a month's content ready to start talking about your Christmas sales because most people have their shopping done by October. And then you have those last minute stragglers that don't know what to get anyone or just don't want to think about Christmas until November. But in order to jump on the train to get sales before everybody else, you need to start thinking about that. And this is why I have a marketing class coming up talking all about this. So if you'd like interest in that, you can also join that. That is a paid masterclass, but you get a 2-hour session with me, which is typically $200 for only $25. So it's really important. I also do one-on-one coaching. So if you are wanting to go live and have a live sale and you just need help with your framework and you just need someone to walk you through it step by step, I'm more than happy to help you. And I'm one of those people that is very firm on investment. So if you invest in yourself, you invest in your business, you will see success. If you let money hold you back, you're not going to be able to shine like a shining star like you should. So it's really important for you to get to that point. So if you need any help, you would like to jump on a clarity call to see if we fit or see if I can help you, I will post that link also in the comments so you can do that. But I would love to just get to know you as well to see if I can help you. So as always, I'm always promoting new offers and always welcoming all the members in the group to networking events and coffee connections and everything that we can do to help you. So if you have any other questions, drop them in the comments below and I will more than happy to answer those. If you want to send me a DM with a more private question, you're more than welcome to do that. I will be happy to answer those questions. So with day 2 over, I hope you check your email so you can get the rest of that information and get all your questions answered. If you have more questions, please just let me know. But that's it for me, guys. I thank you for coming live and watching this. If you're watching the replay, drop your questions. As always, have a good evening, or if you're watching this tomorrow, have a great day.